Hi guys, it's Leanne from the Jar Fancy, and I wanted to record a tutorial, or rather a method of the way that I do my flowers, because I get a lot of comments and a lot of likes and stuff on the way that I make flowers. I chose this really pretty shabby chic um, rose blue polka dot fabric to do them with, and it's a fold over method, sort of like Liz uses from Crafty Devotion, only in a different way. The way that I do my fold over flowers is I take a folded over piece of fabric and fold it over so that I can get more pieces out of it when I cut it, rather than doing, just a couple at a time. And I use circles, and this is what I use my base as, which is just basically felt. And I take my scissors, and if I'm out of frame, then I'm really sorry. Um, I take my scissors and I cut, usually two to three different sizes. And I'm going to have to go out of frame just for a second here, just so I can get this right. So forgive me. We're going out of frame here just for a minute. I'm cutting several layers of this fabric into the size that I want. And with pieces of the design that I want in the fabric. And it doesn't have to be perfect. The circles do not have to be perfect, because that is what Shabby Chic is pretty much all about, is, something that's pretty but not perfection. At least that's the way at least that's the way I see it anyway. And I just cut one of maybe the larger size circles, about that size, okay? And you see it's a little bit jagged. It's not perfect. That's okay. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to cut, I'm going to cut a smaller size, a much smaller size. Hold on, let me see if I can get some more out of this fabric. Let's see if I can get, yeah, I can, well, let's see. I can get maybe a little bit out of here. Kind of helps to turn the fabric rather than to turn the scissors. Instead of turning the scissors, you kind of turn the fabric in that way. And then I'm going to cut a little bit more off here. And then I've got a couple of those. They're a little bit more oval, but that's okay. And then I'm going to cut this off. I'm cutting the big pieces away so I can cut in the center and get the pieces that I want here. And I'm going to cut here, right here, and I'm going to pull this down so it can be a little bit more even with each other. And I'm going to cut a couple of circles out of here. And you have to make sure underneath is the same size, because you don't want, underneath to be a whole different size than the top piece you're cutting. So, because Lord knows I've done that before. So there's a couple of more. Let me trim this little wonky edge here into more of a circle. Like so. And you know what? This is, I don't know. I'm pretty sure there are other people who have done this before or similar to this before, but ever since I have been making flowers, this is the way that I make flowers. I didn't get it from a tutorial. I didn't see anyone else do it when I started making flowers. I sort of just did it myself and just sort of figured it out on my own after some trial and error. And, you know, it kind of just ended up working out in the long run. I'm going to set those aside. This piece I'm going to cut in half so I can get more circles in different sizes, like so. Not perfect. I'm going to take this one and I kind of want, let's see, I'm going to cut this one in half again. See if I can get a couple more smaller ones out of these two pieces here. So now I have this. So I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to cut a circle starting here where these roses are. And I'm sorry again if I'm out of frame, but I want to make sure that my circles are right so I can show you how I do this. My flowers are just layered flowers, and I don't follow any certain pattern or anything of the sort. I just sort of go with it, and I just sort of go with what I feel. I go with what I think looks good. And I know that now some people use, like Liz has a very good tutorial. One of her most recent tutorials that I watched recently, she used the 2-inch squares, which I have done before, but my circles work out better for me. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do my fold over like circle method. And I just cut this piece, okay, this piece here. Now I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to take this about, I don't know, 2-inch piece right here. And I'm going to cut that in half. And then I'm going to get another set of circles out of this stack. This way you're getting a lot more circles than cutting just a couple, you know, a few at a time or just 2 or 3 layers at a time. You're getting, you know, 5 or 6 more layers at a time. Yeah, see right there I hit a spot where it's not exactly even. So I have to make sure that I have all of these circles the same size in each batch. So now you see I have this size. Let me move the camera a little bit so you can see. I have all those sizes over there. And then I just kind of take the scrap and either keep it or toss it, one of the two. I'll go through my scraps and, you know, make more little circles to save for later. I do the same thing with my melted version. And now I'm about to cut. Sorry, my camera is sliding. There we go. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can get it to stay here. All right, so now I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to cut this in half, like so. And then I'm going to see what I can get out of this square. I kind of like this end over here because I like the roses. So I'm going to see what I can get circle-wise out of those roses over here on the edge. And then when I get to the corner, I just kind of round it off. And I've got the flowers in, in the circle. So here's the corner. Here's the rounded edge, and then I just sort of just take the scissors and round off. Doing this under the camera is so much different than doing it the way I normally do it. Round this off and go up. I'm gonna go out of frame just a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. And make it as close to a circle as possible. Make sure the stack is even. And it's again, it's okay if they're not perfect, or if they're not all the same size, because you don't want all the same size. You want different sizes. I'm going to cut that off, that piece off the edge there, and now I'm going to take this piece, this last piece here, and I'm going to cut another size circle out of these pieces. Now, I don't know if I will use all of these pieces in this tutorial, but if I don't, I will take the circles that I cut and I will save them for another flower, and use them, in a different way, or maybe with different fabrics. And I do mix my fabrics. I do use tulle, lace. I do dangles. I do different centers. There's so many ways you can do flowers, but now we have these circles. So now what I do next is I take, let's see, we're going to start with the biggest, the biggest, which is this pile here, okay? And I'm just going to set all these other ones over to the side. And I'm going to take my, sorry for my hands, I've been painting. I'm going to take my big stack here, sorry about that, and I'm going to show you how I go about making a petal. Okay, so I take one out of this large stack and I sort of like pull it on both sides to sort of like rough it up a little bit, and then I sort of go around and shabby it up a little. You see how the ends are fraying like this, and this is sort of a, the long way around sort of making flowers. And you can kind of see the more you pull and the more you tug and the more you yank at the raw edges, the more it frays, which is what I want. This is what I want. Okay. And then, God, I hope my glue gun is on. And it is, thank goodness. Okay, so, and then basically I just go all around the circle and I do each circle by circle by circle by circle. So yes, I do. When I just am kind of, this is another one of those relaxing kind of crafts to me. I love making flowers. And in my shop right now, or my shop is kind of flowerless. I think there might be 2 listings in my shop right now for flowers that are sets. I plan on putting some more in there. Now you can see we have this, okay? Now what I do is, this is the bad side, this is the good side. What I do is I take my fingers and I sort of, rough it up again. Okay. Now I fold it like this, and I put my fingers and my thumbs here like this. Okay. And I sort of wiggle this in the center, and I sort of like make a little kind of cone shape out of it, if you will, that looks something like that. Let me try that again. Are we ready? Okay. We're going to wiggle, and then we're going to push this in, and then we're going to just like that. Okay. And then I decide, do I want this side to show, or do I want the other side to show? And in this case, I think I want this side to show. Okay. And then we've got these. We can always shabby these up some more later. I just sort of pick at them. And then I take my glue gun and show you 1 second here. Take my glue gun, and all this needs, okay, very much like the way Liz does it, is a little bit of glue here, right there, okay, and then a little bit of glue right here. And then there you have, when you shake it up a little bit, you sort of have like a wavy little petal. And you can make it even more wavy by just kind of pulling on it, tugging on it, kind of like that. There we go. There we go. Now we're wavy. That's the way. Kind of make this a little bit more wavy. And then I take this piece here, and just like Liz does her squares, the way she folds them, which is pretty neat. I do the same thing and put a dab of glue on the side that I want down, and I put the big pieces like at the center. Okay, so we're going to put that big piece at the center. And then you're going to take the next big piece and do the same thing, and you're going to go all the way around. Okay, so instead of having you watch me do all that on camera, I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. So here's the bottom layer of my flower. As you can see, when I push down in the center of the flower there, right here, it kind of like ruffles up. Okay, and it's very simple how you do these flowers. You go kind of to the next, like I just did this size, and I'll put those away for another time. And then what I do is I go down to the next size down, which would probably be one of these two, which are about the same, but I'm going to go with these right here. And then I go on to another layer. But sometimes I like to, instead of it being all the same fabric, I like to use, sometimes I like to use this fabric. I'll show you, which is, let me see. I'm going to cut little circles of these. This is like a flannel pink fabric, and I'm going to cut just a few little circles out of these. Cut little squares and make them circles. this should probably be enough. I want this one to be a little bit bigger because I'm not sure yet. I just kind of wing it as I go. Let me put this back in frame. Sorry. Okay, so I'll take this and cut a circle. And as you can see, it's much smaller than the one that we started with, that I did, finished off camera. And I just kind of layered them, overlapped them onto the disc of the oh goodness, the the felt. Yes, the felt. So same concept with this. Now this really likes to fray, and that's what I really love about this flannel type fabric, is that, see how that frays like that? I love that look. And I will fray some of these pieces. See how that frays? It just frays. And then there's no pattern on it. So you can kind of just take this little circle, do the same thing how I showed you before, like this, fold it this way, like that, into a little petal. Okay, then you're going to take your glue gun and you're going to do a little bit of glue there, and then you're going to turn it over, and you're going to do a little bit of glue there on both sides. Okay, and now come on off of there. All right, and then I'm going to take, oh, I could have done one, like, oh, that burned. I don't want to do that again. All right, okay. I could have done maybe another layer of in between, but I just kind of want to give you the gist of like a tutorial of how I, do my petals. Now see how that kind of rolls over like a petal, which I find to be very attractive in flowers. Then what I'll do is, and I'll put it in between the layers that I did before, okay, and press down in the middle. See how that worked out? Now I'll take the next one and do the same, and just kind of go around and pull on it and shabby it up, and this flannel will just pull apart. It'll just very easily just kind of pull apart like so. You see that? Very shabby. And sometimes if it doesn't work one way, you might want to go around the circle the other way, because sometimes one way, it depends on the bias of the fabric, which way it likes to fray. And this one's liking to fray this way a little bit more. And sometimes you can go both ways. And then I'll take this and kind of just, make it kind of, I want it to be misshapen is what I want it to be, is what I'm trying to say. I want it to be a little misshapen, and then I want to take my fingers. You want to take your forefingers here and your thumbs here and kind of fold, and then you sort of wiggle this in and fold it in like this, okay, until you've got a petal like that, okay, and then you've got yourself a petal, a shabby petal. And then you're going to put a little bit of glue in here, and you're going to put a little bit of glue in here. So I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. You only need a tiny bit. A little bit of glue here. And then a little bit of glue on the tip. Right there. Right there. And then you're going to put that petal kind of a little bit overlapping the other, and you're going to push down on that little piece of glue right there and hold it. Okay, and then when you lift your finger up, you sort of got like a ruffled up kind of look like that. Okay, and then you kind of just keep going with going around and around. And if you need to fill in, what I'll do sometimes is I'll take a piece of tulle and stick it here, and take a piece of tulle and stick it, here, and then I'll use my center, like, I don't know, just for the sake of let's see, what do I have on my table right now I could use as a center. That would be a good center. um I don't have a whole lot, but like if you take your center when you're finished, doing all your folds and going around the circle, you just kind of put your center and push down. And when you push down, it pushes everything up so that it becomes, like a really fluffy kind of flower. And when you're done, let me just finish these last couple little pieces here. So I'm going to cut the last two. And again, they don't have to be perfect. You just want to cut them into a round shape. And of course, I probably don't do my best work on camera, but just to give you an idea of how I do my flowers. I'm giving away my secret. I'm sure it's no secret. I'm sure this has been done this way before. I'm positive of it. I've never seen a tutorial that's done this way, but this is just my way of doing it. Just want to make that a little bit more of a circle rather than a wonky one. A little bit more. I'm just going to trim it a little bit more. And now this is small, okay? Small. And you're gonna, I'm just kind of playing. And you want to do the same thing and just kind of shabby that up and go around the circle until it's kind of frayed, like so. Oh, that's nice. I like when it does that. I love it when it does that. It's like, I love that. And then it doesn't really look like a circle anymore, but when you take and do this and you just fold it, when they get smaller, they're a little bit harder, but that's okay. You just do the same glue on one side, glue on the other side, and then you've got your petal here like that, and then you just put a dab of glue, just like you do on any other flower, like we do with most, and place it and hold it. Okay, and then now you can keep on going. Let me snip this just a little. Just a little. And like I said, this is not my best work on camera, but when I probably will do some more to this flower. And when I do some more to this flower, then I'll take some pictures and I'll put them on my Instagram. Kind of feel like it needs something right here. Let me put one of these. My Instagram, you can find, I'll put it down below in the description box. My Instagram is www.instagram.com/thejarfancy. Either that or @thejarfancy. And I do post a lot of pictures on there of my flowers and such, so you can comment there if you're interested in a flower. And I don't usually, like I said, reproduce the same flower twice, but if there's something that you like that you see, I can either find or use the same fabric and do one that's, kind of just like it. Um, I don't usually do that in my work, but if you really like a flower and you really would like to have one that's similar, I can. So all you have to do is comment on my Instagram or my YouTube or any of my social media and ask, can you do flowers like these? And we can go from there. But I sort of feel like it needs something there. Now I normally don't do this way. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I am going to finish this flower. Probably off camera, and then place pictures or another video snippet. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now you can see how this might be a little right here non-symmetrical. Snip. And then you just kind of shabby it up again when it's that blunt edge. You just kind of and then I just kind of just fluff like this. Okay. And then there you've got your flower. And you can put whatever center you want in the center. You can do, let's see, you can even do something like this in the middle. Like that. Wait. Okay. And push that down in the center. And that wouldn't be a bad center for this flower. And then you can add more to it. You can add dangles to it. You can do, like I said, tulle around it, which I love to do. I kind of should go about maybe there. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But like I said, they're not supposed to be exactly perfect because they're shabby. And that's kind of how I do my fold over flowers. And, I mix the fabrics and layer them and use a felt back just like most people do with their flowers. And that's that, guys. And sometimes I go all out and I add extra pearls and, I add extra, tulle or, dangle pearls or dangle ripped, hand-torn pieces of fabrics and laces, and I'll put eyelash lace around, which, matter of fact, I don't know where my eyelash lace is right now, but that just gave me an idea, like to wrap a piece in a pink or white eyelash lace around here and then put your center in the middle. Like, probably what I think I'll probably do with this is I will let me see if I can I'm going to get a piece of this ribbon here and I'm going to show you, let's see, maybe about this ribbon here. Okay. And let's see if this will work out. I don't know. Let's see. We want the satin side up. I'm just sliding this through here now. Okay. Just give me 1 second here. Oh, come on. So, do this on camera. All right. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. There you go. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. Slip like a ribbon through here, okay? And then kind of do a, let's see. Hold on, give me a second here. I want to get right and even. I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but if it doesn't, I'll show you my other way that I also do. Yeah, no, this might not, or, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. Hang on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Take this. And I'm just kind of, I threaded the ribbon through. And then just kind of tied like just a normal bow. Even something like that can work. And you just sort of even it out. Like even this out here. Pull it in. Pull this side in. Pull. Just let that hang where it will be. And put that in the center. And you can have that as a center, and you might, maybe want to trim. Or another way that I like to do, where's my, there it is, okay. This is how I do my, I like to do bottom ribbons, and I'll show you what I mean by bottom ribbons. I'll take my piece of ribbon, okay, and I'll just make a finger bow with of course the satin side out, and just, wait a minute, okay, we're going to make sure that doesn't stick out. Right there, okay, you want it in like a circle like that. I'm sorry for being out of frame so much, guys. Take this. You want to kind of just put that little accordion fold there, like that. And I'm going to cut a piece of this to wrap around it, to hold it. If I can get my scissors. And then you just want to wrap this around to hold it in place. And I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. And there we go. Wrap it all the way around. There we go. And then like you can put a, your favorite center in the piece, or piece, centerpiece in the middle, which I love to do. And I'm going to show you some of my other flowers so you can see kind of what my, I use this technique on other flowers so you can see, kind of how I did my other flowers that are already done. Because doing it on camera is a little bit more unnerving than doing it when you're just kind of doing it by yourself, if that makes sense. And it's hard to stay in frame and still be able to get the result you want, especially with this. Because, I can do much, much better flowers than that. But that is the technique that I use. That's the fold over technique I use. Let's get this out. And my daughter's coming home from school. Hi, daughter, come from school. Hi, hi. And then I will take the ribbon and I will just lift this up a little bit and just kind of glue this down. And I'll put like a little, oh my goodness. Where are you? Ooh, where are you? Put like a little, I usually put like a little rose there, but you could do something like that in the center of the ribbon, and then put your like your favorite centerpiece in the center of the flower. Like so. And like I said, I'm not going to use this piece. And I'm not going to use this one either. But it's an example, okay? And that's sort of how I do them. And that actually looks really cute. But you just kind of like fan it out, you know, and you glue everything down the way you want it to look. It's how you want it to look, okay? And then I'll be right back in 1 second, and I'm going to show you. Let me go grab my flowers. Open a minute. Okay, so now that I've made a mess, I'm going to move all this to the side. And this is my, oh goodness, my flower box. And now you can see what I mean. If I can fix this stupid camera, you can see what I mean by, you know, putting the rose in the center with the satin, okay, and the tulle. And actually, you know what? This flower, I did use Liz's, goodness, look at my fingers. I'm sorry, guys, that's from crafting. I did use, what is that? Let me see. Okay. I did use Liz's technique on this flower, and I did do the fold over triangle. If you watch her video, she'll show you how to do that. I'm not as good at it as she is, but I did use the white flannel fabric, and that's how that turned out. Okay. And then I also have I do these little itty bitties, just these little itty bitties. And then this one, I'll probably add something more to the bottom of it. But as you can see, actually, it's supposed to be this way. Sorry about that. Just like that. And see, I just fray the edges. And I use a lot of circles. And then I have ones like these that are very elaborate. Okay, and see how I've layered those circles that I showed you and put this in the center, and then I put this bow, this ruffled bow here in the middle, or down at the bottom, I'm sorry, and then the satin right here in the middle of the bow, and then down at the bottom you've got hand torn fabric and also some corker ribbon, which I absolutely adore, and then some shoestring ribbon. And my camera is slipping again. But let me take this down, and I'm just going to line them up and show them to you. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so we've got this one, which I've used lace on the back of. Here, eyelash lace down at the bottom. Elaborate blue with the corker ribbon. Then we've got another pink here with some of Liz's trims down here at the bottom. Then we've got this one here, these three. And then we've got this one here, which I love this blue. This blue is just so pretty. And I put just some pearl and some lace at the bottom. But I did this using the same technique that I showed you. You know, with the gathered in the back and then just the folded here, okay? And then a doily, and then just some dangles, just that simple. And then I've also got another dangle that I did the same fold over technique here with a lot of tulle around the edges and lace. I love doing laces. And then my bottom satin ribbon, and then some trims and laces at the bottom, and just simple, just pink pearl in the center, right there. And then, oh, okay. And then this one I just recently made. That's just a simple, it's this same technique I just showed you with the, you know, fold over technique with some lace in the background here, right here, and then some, felt flannel here, lace here, and then tulle in the back, so it's layered. Okay, and then I just stuck one of these really cute flowers in the center. And I love that pink. Pink is my favorite color. And I didn't put any dangles on those. And then of the other ones that are also, they're all sold out. This is all I have left. I did this one. And there's some gathering that I did with a needle and thread in this one. I didn't do the fold over technique in this one, but there's some pink feather here at the top. And then you've got your gathered lace and button center, and the ribbon and gingham ribbon and pearl dangle down at the bottom. And that, folks, is kind of how I just do my flowers. As you can see, no two are the same. I do them all differently. But if there are any you like I said, you could always ask me about them. There are, I know at least one set. I believe it's this set. It's this set here, okay, that is a set of 3. It's a trio. And you can see I did the shoestring ribbon here, you know, flare out shoestring ribbon here. Come on, what are you doing there? Flare out shoestring ribbon there. Now I'm being a perfectionist. Yep. Which I usually am with my flowers. But with the tutorials, I'm not so great with tutorials. But I believe this is a trio, and I think they are listed on my, and you can see I use this as the center. I believe those are listed on my Etsy shop. These chiffon flowers, these are something very different. These are going to be going in my kits. They're really pretty. I love the color. Like the, I don't know, teal, Tiffany blue kind of color. Anyway, that is my fold over technique that I wanted to share with you guys. And I'm sorry if it took so long. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my mess now. And until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep crafting. Bye-bye now.